earlier today. So if you recall, in the tutorial we did earlier today, we created a web UI for the AI DeepSeek-R1 32B model. You don't understand what the 32 stands for? It's the parameter model. So what happened was, it works perfectly fine. We're using the Ollama client on the command line, and we're using Python in order to communicate with it. Now, you don't need to use Python. You could probably use something like PHP or Node.js or any programming language you want. I chose Python because it gave me a chance to put out more Python tutorials. And also, most of the AI stuff is usually done in Python. So this way, you can get easy help and a good way to introduce you guys to Python. So you can also do this on the command line. However, I wanted a web UI because, for example, if I request code, or even if I request an image, I would rather it be displayed, then I can say, okay, that looks good, that looks bad, let's redo it again. So those are the type of things I like to see. The problem with there's nothing wrong with the command, obviously it's fast, but the problem is, I said, I can visually see if something's wrong with the code, and just by looking at a few lines, I can say, okay, that's the wrong answer. But if everything's all jumbled up together, it's very difficult to tell if the code is, or the output is good. So the output could, for example, be a video, or it could be an image, or it could be just plain text. So that was one of the issues I had both on the command line and when I built this web UI. So this is going to be the third time but it's not part 3, but it's just an improvement, if you will, or an enhancement is better, an enhancement. But this has nothing to do with Ollama client, nothing to do with Python. It's just we're just tweaking the output. So this is another way for you guys to learn AI, in that you can tweak not just the answers, but the way the output is displayed. That's basically the focus of this tutorial tonight. So everything we did in the first tutorial is the same. You need to install Ollama and start up using Ollama Serve. You always need to do that. And then you will see on the command line, you'll see when the API and all that stuff is ready. So that's part 1. Number 2, you pick any language you want. As I said before, PHP, Python, Node.js, it doesn't matter, any way you want. We need to communicate with that'll be our backend for the web UI. The web UI just means HTML with JavaScript to communicate back and forth. The other stuff obviously is front-end stuff, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say, so that's subjective. You make it as pretty or as ugly as you want. I said, for me personally, I just want the output to be in a better readable, I don't want to say human readable, because it is human readable, I'm just saying just easier for me to take a look at it. So that's the focus to the tutorial. So if you need a little refresher, the link to this article is also in all the descriptions. Before we continue, just be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments. That really helps this channel grow, and it also reaches out more people. And I've kept on repeating, when it comes to AI, I'm still learning. Even though I've been interested in AI for like 30 years, I'm still learning. And a lot of viewers have helped me as well. So I couldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for viewer help. For example, the Comfy UI, I learned quite a bit. I also do research on my own. And the other thing is with the AMD GPUs, because if you search online, they'll say, oh no, you can't do any AI stuff with AMD GPU. That's clearly wrong. Of course, you need to put in a little bit more work, but it's worth it because you save a lot of money on the GPU itself. For example, I'm using it on the AMD Instinct Mi60, which is 32 gig HBM2 GPU. It's way cheaper than any NVIDIA drivers, both obviously server grade or consumer grade. So, and plus, where are you going to get 32 gigs of VRAM, and still have a usable GPU, right? So come on, for pretty affordable, at least for these prices. So as I said before, I'm not going to spend too much time on the article because there was a dedicated screencast we did earlier today. So as you can see here, basically when you start up, it's going to open up at localhost 11434. That's after you type in Ollama serve. Now you can type Ollama serve and let it run in the background. That's what I'm going to do. Or you can keep it running, and then you will see the output on the on the command line. I know what. So you know what? Just for you guys, I'm not going to run it in the background. I'm just going to run it. I'm going to run it as is, so you guys can see what's going on in the background. So, and in case you don't, you guys might not have a way to see if it's finished or not, so the command line will let you know. So if you want to follow along with this tutorial, if you want to pull a specific model, the one I'm using, you just type Ollama space pull space DeepSeek-R1 colon 32B, and that will pull in that specific model that I have. Now be careful when these models, they like RAM. Forget about VRAM, they love RAM. So you always need more RAM. Now because this is a chat, it's a chat model LLM, and also that it's been pretty well optimized because I'm using the GGUF. Is it GG? Yeah, GGUF. Those ones are the most optimized ones, so they can run even when your workstation or laptop has less resources than the beefier stuff. For video stuff, whatever, yeah, you need a lot of RAM, a lot of VRAM. But for stuff like this, you don't, as long as it's well optimized. I was really impressed with this model, how I was able to. It didn't use too many resources, as you saw in earlier tutorial. So the base code to get you started is right here. You can get the Python, you can get the HTML, and you can get the CSS. Now the stuff I'm doing now, it might not work, right? That's why it's a night stream. So that's why I didn't add it here. I created everything so far. I created at the same time I created this article. But I'm saying is I didn't. Obviously, this article was tested not just when I wrote it, but also when I when I did the live stream, and any bugs or anything were worked out. So this stuff I'm doing right now, I haven't tested it, so it might fail. So, but we'll learn together. So with that said, let's get going. So I have a folder here. As you can see, the one we ran earlier today, it had the generate.py. That's the what do you call it? It's the API endpoint for our web UI, and then I have an index.html file, and I have oh sorry, did I make a mistake here? Oh, I think I made a mistake. Sorry, I apologize. I made a mistake. We had server.py, sorry, and style.css. I don't know why I have the generate.py. I think this is the old. Oh, I remember. This was the one for the command line. When we were running the command line, I was using this one. I should probably have put this in a separate folder. Yeah, when I was running the command line, I used this one. I should really put this in a separate folder. That's what I should actually do. Yeah, this should be in a separate folder. So the index server and this is what we ran earlier today. So we can take a look at it. I have the document open here. Let's go through each of them individually. I'm just going to go this very, very quickly. So we have our, that's a style sheet. I'll talk about that later. That's for starting. So you know what? I'm not even going to go through that one. Starting, as I said, is subjective. You start it the way you want. So basically we have the most important thing here is this div chat box and the message. That's a message that will come back from the server. And then we have here our chat form. It takes a user input. You type in your request there, and then the button to send. And then this is a JavaScript. You see the JavaScript. We use the add event listener. Will be. Oh, sorry, I forgot to zoom in. Sorry about that. It's for this button, the submit button. You see there. When it's clicked, we're going to. What are we going to do? We're going to prevent the default behavior. I mean, we don't want to submit the form. If you don't prevent the default behavior, it's going to submit the form to itself on the same page, which you don't want. That's why we have the prevent default. What we'll do, we'll grab the user input and we grab the chat box, which is the one up. Where's the chat box? It's up here. And then we trim the prompt. The trim means that it's trailing, meaning the beginning and the end, because sometimes people leave spaces, so we trim that. Because that's going to help. And then what we'll do, if it's empty, we don't do anything. See, that's why the return is here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a div, and that will be the user message. And what we're going to do is when we get input back from the server, that text content is, that's where we're going to put the content in there. So what else are we here? Then it's going to say thinking. It's going to say thinking when it sends the stuff to the server, because it might take a while depending on the type of question or request you do. So this is the fetch request you see here, localhost. This is the mistake I made earlier. I went 127.0.0.1 when it's actually localhost, but you live and learn. So that's our AI endpoint. I'll show you that in the Python file, and then we request JSON. When we get the JSON, we basically output it into the text. That's all it is. That's all that code does. Nice and simple. So next we have our server here. Everything is done in Python. I didn't want to start up separate servers. Everything's done in Python. You see I imported a request, JSON, HTTP server, and URL lib.parse. And you see this is our Ollama endpoint, the localhost 11434. We want to generate, so that's here. And the model we're going to use is the DeepSeek. There's only one model. I'll prove that to you later. Host name is localhost. That's more important. And the port number is 8000. Now you could put 0000 here so that you can connect to it on anywhere on the network. But I chose localhost for this particular tutorial. And then you see this is the prompt we send, the model name, the prompt, and set stream to false. This means that when you get the result, it doesn't immediately just throw it up onto the screen. We don't want that. We want to grab it and send as a JSON. That's why you see it's application/JSON. What else do we do here? So that's the post handler there, and the chat handler. So yeah, we send it to. Oh no, this is the slash. This is our endpoint code. Basically, we just grab the code, and then we make sure that we send it as a JSON. That's all that does. All right, and then we start up the server here. As you can see, web server, the host name, server port, and we start this Ollama chat handler. That's all the Python does. And I said this is just as you can see, the simple styles. I'm not gonna go through this. So, and the styles are going to be used everywhere. And I said if you're curious, you can grab the startup. Yeah, the style is here too, so you can grab it there. Okay, now for today's tutorial, what we want to do is I created two folders here. One is just purely for Markdown, just to format the content properly. But then one of the problems with Markdown is just plain text. Oh, it's pretty fine. But the thing is, if we get code, code, we probably want to do a little bit of syntax hiding as well, because I said I can quickly detect if there's an issue with the code. So that's why we have the syntax highlights as well. So I'm hoping one of them or both of them work, so that this tutorial can go much faster. Okay, so let's take a look here. So if we take a look at our index file, I'm not going to go through the style. I said the style is exactly the same. There is no different. I think there's just one thing added. There's really no difference. So you see it's exactly the same. The difference is I'm going to use an SDN. I can create my own Markdown type stuff with some JavaScript and some styling. But this is a case where for this tutorial, the CDN will be much better. If you guys want me to do, I actually did one tutorial where I created a Markdown, a Markdown editor. So I'm saying it is possible to do it, but I would recommend in this case, unless you have oodles of time to do it, I would recommend you can use a CDN. If you don't know what a CDN is, what that means, Content Delivery Network. It means that, for example, I'm in Canada here in Southern Ontario, so whatever will be delivered to me will be closer to my location, most likely will be from Toronto. And then if you're, say, in Los Angeles, you're going to get probably one in Los Angeles. If you're in Chicago, there's probably one in Chicago. If you're in Florida, you get one there. So basically, and obviously if you're in Europe, there'll be one in Europe. It really makes sense. For example, if you're in if you're in Ireland, and then you get the CDN that's in China, you know what I mean? So that doesn't make any sense. So that's what it means. It just means it delivered to the location nearest to you. So it's much faster. There's less lag. Okay, as you can see, everything here is exactly the same. We still have our form, and now if you take a look at our JavaScript here, it's exactly the same. Okay, it's exactly the same. The only difference is now we're going to parse it. We're going to parse for Markdown. And of course, what we'll do is when we see here it says thinking class, remove, it's going to remove thinking, but you see it's going to parse for marked. You see where it says marked.parse AI Markdown. So this is good. AI Markdown is going to be our response. Then we'll use this marked.parse. So we'll parse for any Markdown, and then we will display it. You see here it says thinking message.innerHTML. It goes AI HTML. So that's it. So if there's any Markdown that comes back to us, we're going to put it there. So I'm sure, as you can guess, this file here is going to change in order to get our so what we're going to do is everything stays the same, except that what we're going to do is, I think it's in our request, we're going to request for Markdown, if I'm correct. Where is it here? If you guys see, let me know, because let's see, it's still JSON. Looks like it's exactly the same. I don't see it. I thought there was a place. Yeah, I thought there was a place where you suggest. Okay, I guess I was wrong. I thought we tell it to return JSON. Let me search for Markdown here. Maybe I'm not seeing Mark. Oh yeah, I was right. So you see here it says Markdown. So basically the system prompt, we're telling it to get a Markdown syntax. And you see it says, your helpful and detailed assistant, format your entire response using Markdown syntax, including headings, bold text, and bullet points where appropriate. So that we're telling the AI that if possible, it should use Markdown format, and then it should include headings, bold text, and bullet points where appropriate. So what it's going to do is, if you don't know what Markdown is, Markdown, for example, 2 hashes, that's usually bold or H1, little things like that. So when it does that, but we don't want to see plain text again. So when it does that, that's why we're going to use the Markdown, the CDN on the front end to display it. So that's the difference. Now, if you want to compare what the system prompt was before we run this one, so I'm going to just get out of this folder here. We're going to compare it to this one and see what the system prompt for this one was. This one should also have a system prompt. Maybe it did not. I know this one also had a system prompt. Let me search for prompt. How many times does prompt show up? Oh, 8 times. Okay, so I think I need to go up. Prompt. Sends a request. Yeah, so this one I think just uses the default. I think this one just uses the default prompt. So which is just plain text. And as you saw, plain text is not very good. Obviously, it might be faster, but it's not very good. So that's the one. Go back to test. So we're doing Markdown right now. So let's go check this out to make sure it works. I'm going to do 2 things first. I'm going to go to this AI folder. You see I have this cooler control. I need that for my GPU. So I'm going to start. I'm going to start it up. I just go sudo, and then it's called cooler control. It's an app image, but you need to run it with root elevated permissions. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit here because so you can see this is ready. It's running on port 11987. That's fantastic. Then here I'm going to start up the server. I'm going to try running it in a command line, on the background. So to run in the background, you just type Ollama space serve space, then you put 1 ampersand. And then as you can see, it's going to show you what's going on here. Let me zoom out so in case you guys don't see it. It says AMD GPUs is supported, so that's great. But one of my GPU and says this one AMD GPU is not supported. So I'll explain you why it's doing that. I have two GPUs. One is the integrated graphics, one is the dedicated graphics. Now, the dedicated graphic is always 0 for some reason, so that's great. So that's the one that's supported. It's one here. So it says it's the type is GFX 906. That's the AMD Mi60. And I know because you see here it said it found 32 gigs and it's available 32 gigs. So that's great. Now, the one here where it says it's not supported, that is the integrated graphics. That's the one that comes with the Ryzen 5 5600 GT. The G stands for graphics. So you might say, why do you waste money buying that CPU? You could have saved money by not buying. So the reason I got it is because the dedicated graphics, it was a server card. So it's not one where you plug in your monitors. So I didn't have it. So that's why I got the integrated one, so I can plug in my 4K monitor and my 1080p monitor, the one I'm using for recording right now. So that's the reason. Now I could also have used my older the NVIDIA 950 GTX 950, but that one is probably going to be discarded. It's still here, but it's not in any system. So as you can see, it shows you what types are supported. So lucky for me, you see they still support the GTFX 900 for some reason, then the GTX 906 and the fourth, and that one is 90C. So I guess the C stands for CPU. I'm not sure how AMD does their nomenclature. Okay, so that's it. So it's running. Now to show you, if I type Ollama list, if this is all the models available, right now there's only one model, and that's the DeepSeek-R1 colon 32B. So that's one, it's 19 gigs. That's the one that we're going to use. There's only one model. That's why I can specify it in the Python as well to use the specific model. So that's it. Now, this is running. Before we start our server, I'm going to open up a different tab here. I'm going to clean this up. And I'll go clear. So where am I here? I'm not even sure where I am. Where am I? Okay, so I want to go to tests and I want to go to Markdown. I want to be in the Markdown folder. If you don't know, yeah, this one here, this is where I want to be. So we just type Python server.py. So here you see this one is going to be open on port 8000. So now I have two ports to go check all this out. Well, technically three, but I'm not going to try the Ollama. There will be nothing because it doesn't have a server. The Python one, I'm using the built-in server, so we're going to check that one. And then the last one here. Oops. Let's put it here. So this last one as well. This is the cooler control. So let me take a little break and check out what's going on here with some of these. Oh, finally. Okay, so this time Odyssey didn't give me the little hiccup it always does. That's great. And okay, so Rumble is working fine. Let's see what Odyssey is doing. I guess I have to do a refresh for BitChute. Okay, BitChute is working. Let me hit play on Rumble. Okay, Rumble, for some reason it looks like I also need to do a refresh. Yeah, that's great. And oh, come on, Odyssey. Come on, Odyssey. Jeez. Odyssey is in live right now, so I have to hit a refresh. Are you kidding me? Come on. Okay, so it is live. Okay, I have to refresh twice. Weird. Alright, so YouTube is also fine. Of course, I can see it. Unfortunately, because I'm using Wayland, I cannot on Linux, Fedora Linux 42. Browser docs is not there, so I have to open up multiple windows or multiple tabs. So I have to like click back and forth. Okay, so I'm going to use a Chromium browser. You can use any browser you want. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use a Chromium browser here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the cooler control first. See localhost 11987. So what we're going to pay attention to is not the CPU. It's the GPU here. You see at idle, or almost idle, because I'm using it to record this video you're watching right now. So it's about 45, 46 degrees. Normally it's around closer to 50, but the reason it's this is because it's very cold right now, and I still haven't turned on the heater. So today the inside the household is 14.5 degrees, but I'll explain that later how I can survive that. Okay, and then this is the Radeon graphics. I don't need this one. This is the integrated graphics. The fan I'm interested in is this one, System Fan 2. You see this one? That's the one I'm interested in. Because this is the fan shroud, 40mm fan that connected to the Mi60. Remember, the Mi60 doesn't come with any cooling, so I had to come up with a cooling solution. So what I usually do is I bump this guy up to 50%, and then get ready, because what happens is when it's doing any AI, especially AI tasks, what's going to happen is this temperature is going to shoot up instantly, right? So I do have a fan profile script, but it won't work. So that's why, I mean, it will be too slow. So that's why I immediately jump it up to 50 and get ready to press the apply setting. So next, let's go to our, it was localhost, I believe. Yeah, so it's localhost, and it's 8,000. I think I don't need anything else. Yes, I'm right. I don't need anything else. I made it index.html. So here we go. Now, oh, where did I start this? Did I start in the Markdown folder? I don't even remember where I started this. Oh yeah, I started in the Markdown folder. So this should now give us Markdown text, and Markdown text should show up here. So let's try it out. So I'm going to ask it, what license do you use? So this one, I found out that this question, it's pretty fast. It doesn't even bother the GPU. So we can check it out. So I'm going to hit send. It says thinking. So we can check out here when the temperature bumps up. You see that it went up to 46 and then it just stopped. So 46 again, so it stopped. So that question actually answers pretty fast as far as I know. So when this starts going up, then I can just hit this guy here. So it looks like 1 degree maybe. Yeah, it looks like it's yeah, 47. You see, it just went up there. So this one is pretty slow. I'll go check if it's finished. Oh, it's still thinking. Okay, so I have to be careful here because this guy can jump very quickly. 47. Make sure I'm using localhost. Oh, you see, the temperature just jumped up there, and I have to be careful. Okay, so I don't want to take any chances. So yeah, you see the temperature jumped. Like I said, it jumps instantly. You saw how it was 40, 49, then immediately jumped to like 62. Yeah, it can jump to over, over 100%, 100 degrees Celsius instantly. So that's why I said the fan profile is not going to work with this guy. Now it's going down, so I'm guessing the answer, yeah, the answer must have been given. So we can go check it out. Oh, look at that. That's way better than, isn't that better than if you guys joined me for earlier today? See, that is awesome. Look at that. See, this is perfectly usable now. I can obviously grab this. Look at that code. Wow. You know, earlier today, I couldn't even see this part where it says MIT license because the code was all jumbled up. I couldn't read that. Now I can actually read it. See, that's what I'm saying. I wanted it to be, I don't want to call it prefied, but this is just so much more easy because I couldn't tell what license it was saying. So let me read you at least one paragraph. So it says, okay, so I need to figure out what license the assistant is using. The user provided some information about the assistant's response, which includes sections on the MIT license, key features, and usage guidelines. My task is to understand this information thoroughly. First, looking at the MIT license section, it mentions that the code and documentation licensed under MIT with no copyright notice. The main point seems to be about freedom. Users can do anything as long as they keep the license intact. That's actually correct. So I'm not going to read the rest. As I said, the answer is absolutely correct, and it also gives an overview of MIT license. See, I couldn't even read this stuff earlier today. This is fantastic. And we can, if I don't know, let me go check the command line. I'm hoping it shows the time it took. Yes, it does. Perfect. So that answer took 1 minute and 16 seconds. You know what's weird? Earlier today when I ran the same thing, it took like, I think, almost a second to answer that question. Now, I think I know why, because it was just outputting plain text. So obviously plain text will be faster because it doesn't have to format it into Markdown. But I'm still happy with this answer. I'll gladly wait 1 minute and 16 seconds to get an answer if it's going to be formatted in a way I can easily read it. So now what I can do is, with this answer, well, obviously there's a few other things I can improve this on. One thing I think I can improve this on is I should have maybe a little icon here where, or a button is fine, to where it says copy. Then I can copy the content, because in this particular case, this is pretty long, right? Let's go find out how long this guy is. This is pretty long. Okay, it's not too bad. So Control C here. I'm going to open up LibreOffice, open up Writer. Here we go. I'm going to show this for people who have vertical screens. I'm going to paste the answer in here and see how many pages. So it says it's 2 pages. And it has 329 words and 2,184 characters. So you see, this is actually pretty good. Now, do not, this part is actually bolded, I believe. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so that's not bolded, but still, the reading part is pretty nice. Obviously, if I put this in like latex, or what's the other one, some Markdown thing, I would be able to, you know what, let me actually paste it in a plain text and see what it actually comes out. So that's what it looks like there. Let's paste it in now I'll save this. I'm going to paste it in a text editor. We have our text editor here, so I'm just going to paste it here and see what it looks like, if it's Markdown or not. Oh, it looks like it's just plain text. Oh, it's because I'm using the what do you call it? I'm using the Markdown CD, and I forgot about it. I guess that one wipes out it doesn't convert it to HTML, but if you want to convert it to HTML or something, but I'm pretty happy with this. See, even this one, it's more readable. I don't have to fool around with the formatting. I'm happy with that. So that is very, very good. So that's a pass. I'm gonna try. Don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna spend too much time, I promise. But I want to try one more thing. I'm gonna request. Let me see what to request. What should I request next? Not who's the mayor of Toronto. Yeah, let's try that. No, I don't want to waste your time. So what was the things I always put. Where are those questions which I always do? Should I prepare better? Hold on, just give me a second. I'm gonna grab. Where do I? Just give me a second. I'm a little bit off screen here. I'm gonna ask it one of the other questions. I want some simple code just to make sure that it's formatted properly. I mean, with Markdown anyway. So I'm gonna request a PHP code snippet to connect to a MySQL database. We're gonna redo this again when we actually do the highlighter one, but I want to just check this one out to see how. See, another thing I could also do, I should also have a clear button so you can clear this out. So if we go back to the cooler control, you can see the temperature is 34 degrees. That means the GPU is it's not being used. But when this yes, it's 34. Is it going up? No, it's still it's basically idle. So now for you guys the fan is not loud because one, I believe there's some type of noise reduction or noise separation. But for me it's pretty loud. Remember, like if it's on full blast, it's kind of like a jet engine taking off. So it's basically about halfway. So you see the temperature went way up. It's 53. Remember, it was 32. So basically, it's almost half. Yeah. And just to let you guys know, I also brought some water here because sometimes my throat will get really sore when I talk too much during this live stream. So a little water. Take a little sip right now. Okay. So still thinking. Overall, I'm a little bit disappointed because I don't know, maybe it's an NVIDIA thing or an AMD thing. It seems that all these AI models, they're kind of tuned only for Intel and NVIDIA, not because I'm using a full AMD stack, but hopefully, now I'm also using obviously only the open source drivers. I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't think it does. Yeah, so the temperature looks like it's going down, so I'm guessing the answer, it must have given an answer. So let's go check a look at the answer as well. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all. Look at that. That's not a bad answer. Yeah, it's way better than it was before. You see, it says I need to figure out to write a PHP. So I'm saying I can actually read it. Before I could not read it. So there we go. So it explains. So see, I can look at the code now and tell you if it. So the syntax for the first part is correct. The connect MySQL, that's also correct. If not connect die, that's also correct. So I can tell you that this select the database. Yeah. So that part is correct. I know that will work. I said we'll test it also when we do the highlighter, if the highlighter comes, but I'm saying I can tell this code is correct. And then you see there's key points. So this Markdown makes it so much easier to obviously to visually see what's going on. So as you can tell, instead of mucking around with some other UIs which are pain in the butt, you might not like some things, you can create your own. I just showed you. The only third-party libraries we're using here are obviously for Markdown, and we're going to use one for syntax highlighting. So what I'm saying is they're CDNs, obviously they're open source, the code is there. If you want to make your own, you can as well. They're not very hard to do. Markdown is extremely easy highlighting. You guys have seen I've done syntax highlighting. Have I done syntax highlighting tutorials? Yeah, maybe that's something I should do again. I can't remember. Yeah, and here's an alternative. This is when using the PHP data object. Again, that part is correct. Pedo, MySQL, yeah, this is correct. So maybe this is fine. I'm not gonna beat it over the head with it. It's perfectly fine. This looks correct. Yeah, this is correct as well. So this is what I was trying to say. Simply by looking at it, if it's formatted properly, I'm not even talking about this type of indentation. I'm just saying that when things are not all crumbled up together where there's no spaces, it's easier to read, and I can simply see if I should even bother with the code. So I'm pretty happy with this. Now if we go back to the command line, we can see how long that one took. That one took 2 minutes and 3 seconds. So it looks to me that because I asked it to do the Markdown, it's a little bit slow. Remember also, I'm using the GPU to record this video as well, so maybe that's why there's a little slowdown there. All right, let's get out of here and actually go and do something else. Now that was the Markdown test. Now let's go and check out the syntax highlighting test. So syntax highlighting test is here. We're going to use the same thing. This is a separate folder, so I'm going to open that up in a I don't need that. So I'm going to close everything here so there's no confusion. So this folder is called syntax highlights. We're going to take a look at the HTML. We're going to look at the server and take a look here. So the CSS, that's your styling, as I've repeated said so many times. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see. So just like before, we still stay with the What is the highlight? Oh, we're using Atom Dark Minify. Oh, yeah, we're still using the Markdown one. So it's Mark.minify, and then we have two. Oh, one is the CSS. So you see, there's this CSS for syntax highlighting, and then the JavaScript, the highlight.minified one as well. So, as I say, you don't need all three. You can do one from scratch. If you guys want to make one from scratch, I will again. I believe I did a syntax highlighting. Oh yeah, I did do it. I explained it because I used that for one of my courses. Actually, all my courses, the Ojambo Jumbo Shop, learning JavaScript and learning Python. Yeah, learning Python. For the PHP one, I think I'm using CodeMirror. Okay, so then what we did here, the same. Everything here stays the same. The same HTML here. The only difference that we're going to do is when we use the Markdown one, we're going to then highlight it. You see, the language will be based on the language. For example, I'm going to ask it PHP, but if the other language we use is Kotlin, which is based Java, and should be another one for the Blender part, but that one probably will just be plain text, which is perfectly fine. So there we go. Everything else stays the same. Yeah, when we get the data back, you see, then we go to marked parse, and that's it. It's the same thing. That's it. Now let's take a look at the Python. What do you think? Has it changed? We're hopeful. Find, yeah, it's the same thing. You see, we ask it to output Markdown again, including headings, bold text, and bullet points where appropriate. So everything stays exactly the same. But it will detect the code for us. So that's it. It's even looks like it's even shorter than the other one. Did I clip this properly? Looks okay. Looks like it's shorter than the other one. All right, so that's it. So let's go run this. So in order to stop, not you, but this guy here, I'm going to stop it here because you see it tells me what folder I'm in, and the Markdown folder. I don't want that. I'm going to go back one, and then I'm going to go to this syntax highlighting folder. There we go. And then I'm going to start the server. So I'll do the same thing here. Syntax, I'm already in there. So I'll just press enter. You see the server started at 8,000. So all I need to do here is just refresh the page. And you see, now I can ask it some specific questions to see if it's working. So let's go through everything now. So I'm going to ask it who the mayor, what license it uses. No, you know what? I already asked it, so that doesn't matter. I'm just going to, who is the mayor of Toronto? So if we go back to, you see it's 32 degrees. That's going down. It wasn't being used. There we go. This guy will start pumping up when the GPU is actually being used. So as I said, the Markdown worked perfectly, but I decided, you know what? Instead of creating another tutorial, I can do a